In 1936, the last known Tasmanian tiger, Thylacine cynocephalus, died in captivity. It froze to death in a cage at Hobart Zoo after being locked out of its shelter overnight. There was no fanfare, no global outcry, and just like that, one of the world's most unique predators disappeared. The Tasmanian tiger, more accurately known as the thylacine, was not a tiger at all, nor was it a wolf. It was a carnivorous marsupial, a distant relative of the kangaroo and wombat. Yet its appearance resembled a medium-sized dog, complete with stiff tail and powerful jaws. Its back bore dark stripes, giving rise to its common name. One of the thylacine's most unusual features was its pouch. Like all marsupials, females used it to carry their young. But the thylacine was one of the only known marsupials where males also had a pouch, used not for offspring but to protect their external genitalia while running through dense underbrush, a trait rarely seen in modern animals. It was a solitary nocturnal hunter, shy and elusive. It preferred open forests and grasslands and relied on keen eyesight and endurance over brute strength. Despite being a top predator in its environment, it posed no serious threat to humans. Fossil evidence shows that thylacines once roamed across all of mainland Australia and New Guinea. They emerged at least 2 million years ago and thrived until around 3,000 years ago when a new predator arrived, the dingo. Dingoes likely outcompeted the thylacine on the mainland. But Tasmania, isolated by rising sea levels, remained dingo-free. And so the thylacine survived, alone and unchallenged, for millennia, until European colonization. In the early 1800s, British settlers arrived in Tasmania. They brought livestock, agriculture, and fear. When sheep began to go missing, blame fell quickly and almost entirely on the thylacine. No scientific studies were conducted. No alternative explanations were explored. In 1888, the Tasmanian government placed a bounty, £1 per adult thylacine, 10 shillings per pup. Hunters responded eagerly. Some pursued it for money, others for sport. By the early 1900s, the thylacine population was in collapse. Ironically, modern analysis shows the thylacine likely had a relatively weak bite force and a narrow jaw, anatomically ill-suited for killing large livestock. The assumption that it was a sheep killer was largely unfounded, but the damage had been done. As wild populations dwindled, a few thylacines were captured and held in zoos, yet no meaningful effort was made to breed them. Most enclosures were poorly maintained. Many animals were starved, mistreated, or died from exposure. The species was neglected in both life and science. The last confirmed individual, known as Benjamin, lived at Hobart Zoo. On the night of the 6th of September, 1936, it was locked out of its shelter and left exposed to the cold. It died the next morning. 2 months later, the species was finally granted legal protection, too late by 60 days. Official extinction status came decades later, yet reports of sightings never stopped. Grainy videos, unexplained tracks, fleeting glimpses. Though none confirmed, they keep hope alive for some. Today, science has turned its focus toward de-extinction. Using preserved DNA, some researchers believe it's possible to resurrect the thylacine through genetic engineering. But critics argue that we should prioritize protecting existing ecosystems, not reviving lost ones. The extinction of the thylacine was not a natural event. It was a man-made collapse, driven by fear, misunderstanding, and irresponsible policy. We didn't just kill it. we failed it at every level. European settlers invaded its habitat, labeled it a menace, and launched a campaign of eradication based on little more than hearsay. They turned the thylacine into a scapegoat for poor livestock management. In captivity, they neglected it, abused it, treated it as a curiosity, not a subject for study or conservation. The most striking irony? We know more about species that died 65 million years ago than we do about the Thylacine, which shared the planet with us less than a century ago. We've mapped the genome of the Tyrannosaurus rex. We understand how some dinosaurs walked, hunted, and evolved. But we lack even basic ecological data about the Thylacine. Why? Because instead of studying it, we exterminated it. Instead of coexisting, we labeled it the other. A threat, a target, a pest, and now it is gone. This is not just the story of a single species. It is a reflection of our priorities, a mirror held up to modern society. The same pressures. Habitat loss, industrialization, fear still threaten countless species today. The extinction of the Thylacine is over, but the lesson is not. Extinction is irreversible. Awareness is not enough. If we want to avoid repeating history, we must change how we see, treat, and value the living world.